All right, let's talk about Nike, a company that we are all very familiar with, uh, a giant in the game. So Nike, not only have they entered the world of the virtual, they just filed for the trademark. We'll talk about that. We posted that 2 weeks ago, but they're gonna use NFTs to verify the authenticity of items. This is something that's real big. For me, everybody knows that. I'm into sneakers, but I'm not a sneakerhead. I'm not really that passionate about sneakers. But Troy is a sneakerhead. He's like all of these Travis Scott Air Force limited edition.
Hey, you see what's up there today?
Yeah,
they dropped those today too. Shout out to the sneakers app. Everybody who caught a dub on that. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, it's like all of these, like it's like a subculture. It's like when you see somebody, it's like, oh, you got the Virgil,
the
one of
don't do that to us. Don't do that to us. Sneaker community, don't play. Don't play us. No, we go crazy.
The Ben and Jerry Air Force Ones from Desert Storm. Oh, it's crazy.
Listen, that sneaker community and gaming community,
it's a thing.
Don't mess with them.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
they got my back. They about to come after you in these comments.
So Troy's definitely a sneakerhead. So all right, how do we feel about what does this mean for these NFTs? And this is something I think is a game changer. But Ian, how do you feel about this?
It's an amazing adjustment because it eliminates some of the counterfeiting issues that you have globally, and then also too it makes it more prestigious. So like a part of it is they took a very interesting marketing strategy from Sotheby's. So not only do you have the item, but now you have the certificate. So now, opposed to just saying, "Hey, I got them," people are going to post these NFTs and certificates of authenticity as a social or clout move as well. So that's only going to drive the price up of the stock more, the price of the items up even higher. And also, too, I kept saying like blockchain is going to make everything way more accountable, more transparent. A lot of businesses are going to be hurt as a result, like the music industry, but Nike and a few tech companies are going to benefit incredibly well from it.
Yeah, I think the resale game is going to change. And I couldn't agree more with the rarity, right? Instead of having 100 shoes, now it might just be one. And so when anything becomes rare, a commodity becomes rare, obviously the value goes up. And so we've seen shoes, like we saw the Kanye, his Grammy award, his Grammy show, Yeezy went for 100,000, right? And it was worn. But I could imagine the authentication of that in a new age. Like we could be talking 150, 200, 300, 500,000. Like these shoes now become pieces of art.
Absolutely.
Right. And so we were talking about Basquiat earlier in the day. And it was like, well, now a shoe could be looked at like a piece of art. And a lot of times we do view them like that, right? We buy them, we hold them, we store them, we keep them in storage. Some people put them in safes because they want the value to appreciate over time. Yeah. And so now with the authentication, you have a situation where you can't fake it anymore. Like, so think about because that counterfeit economy, especially in places like China, it's $1 billion business. It's a $1 billion business. And so you take that out of the economy, that's a dent, right? We're talking about, and that's not just for the sneakers themselves, but Nike apparel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's a huge step in the right direction for Nike as far as making sure that people are getting the actual product. But there's other businesses that are affected because of that type of technology.
Yeah. So, and shout out to all the sneakerheads, man.
They coming after you?
No. I got love for sneakers, man. It's just, some people are just a little
everyone has a passion.
A little passion. Yeah. But shout out to all the sneakerheads, man. I've been wearing sneakers for a long time. And I am contemplating Puma, do the right thing. Do the right thing, Puma. I don't know why I don't have a Puma contract by now. But one thing with the sneakerhead community is that they've been saying for a long time, like, sneakers are an investment and they can be treated like an investment. So I think that this is really good because, the counterfeit market is a huge thing. Shout out to Former Simpson when he came on and he was talking about, how, the counterfeit market is $1 billion industry. So now with the NFTs, and that's one of the great things with the blockchain technology and NFTs is that, it's one of one and you really can't counterfeit it. So now when you apply that to something like sneakers, and this is like a big thing with art as well, where art being knocked off and ripped off is a huge industry. So now if you can eliminate the fake market, not only does that boost up Nike's, but it also raises the price for the original one of one, right? So Nike stock was, I think, $50 5 years ago. And Now it's
162.
162.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at something that, tripled over the course of a 5-year time frame. How do we feel about Nike's stock moving forward? We talked about it, a few times before, but how do we feel about Nike stock moving forward?
It's going to go up even higher as a result. And then also too, this is going to be an interesting segue because they're going to be in between a fashion icon brand and then a luxury brand with the NFT exposure. And if you think it's not going to only impact their business, wait till Supreme does it, Chanel does it, LVMH does it, Gucci does it. It's going to be a game changer. And for those of you who are like, hey, I think that's stupid, the shoes cost that much. Somebody just bought the original Apple computer the other day for $500,000. Every market is determined by if people are willing to pay a certain price above what you own it for, then it's a viable market. We can't argue and deny the returns.
I mean, I feel like it's inevitable, right? Like when you scan an item to be purchased, that QR code now could just have a chip that makes it that it's an authenticator as well. In the short term, I think Nike has a slight pullback, only because if you read the reports now, there's been closures in Vietnam. A lot of the factories have been closed. The supply chain, obviously, issues we've already spoken about in detail. Slight pullback in Nike, but long term, obviously, is something that, again, if I'm spending money. It's definitely going to be something I'm invested in. But also, it affects too, because companies like StockX, right? They make a living on reselling sneakers by first authenticating them, right? And so now, if you have the process where you're already authenticating them,
it eliminates the middleman.
It cuts the middleman out, right? So it affects those reselling companies. And so when you have like a Flight Club or a lot of these companies where it's just like, hey, we're going to authenticate it and give it to the person who's purchasing. Now we don't need you.
And that's why I always say, you're not just in competition with your business, you're in competition with everyone. So if they cut out the middleman and then they drive those kind of sales back to Nike and that traffic back to Nike, like, you don't think that they're tired of everyone reselling their items and making 3x off of, I mean, they literally built a whole exchange. Like, that's why I tell you guys, if you use Fibonacci or the 72 EMA, you can use Fibonacci to know what price to buy the shoes at.
You just said, like, when you just said something that it made me like think, like, imagine if they put commissions on the NFT itself of the shoe. Like, they have the shoe and they have the commissions on it. And so now they actually get paid from the resale. Like, think about that.
The world is changing.
That's crazy.
Nike's also in XLY.
That's a fact.
So the ETF play. And then we also have to speak about Nike entering the metaverse. They filed for trademark for all digital goods 2 weeks ago. So then that's something that's interesting as well, because now it's like, Nike is already the biggest shoe line in the world. So now when they become the biggest shoe line in the virtual world, in the metaverse, and this is something that is going to be a whole different. We still don't even really know how this is going to affect companies' valuations as far as their
valuations.
That's like a new category.
Their share online, as far as we know that, but we know what is their share on the virtual world going to be in the metaverse, where just to kind of put some perspective on it, if you have to pay $300 for the virtual Jordans for your avatar.
I mean, if you're in 2K already,
you're doing it.
You're doing it now. So if the metaverse gets as big as it can be, you're going to want to wear the 11s in the metaverse. You don't want pro kids. Like you're going to want to, especially if you can't afford it in real life. And you're spending more time online. We see it with Instagram. People have built an entire facade to look like a certain way in front of an audience. Now, if you're spending more time in the metaverse, you're going to spend money there. Like, I'm telling you, there's going to be a time where people are spending $2,000 and $3,000 a month on clothing in the metaverse for their character.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.